The prisoner sat in chains that could restrain a battle mech, yet he appeared bored rather than confined. His name was Marcus Cole, and he had been captured 3 cycles ago during a diplomatic mission gone wrong. The Valtorian Empire had accused him of espionage, though everyone knew the real reason for his imprisonment was simple curiosity. Humans were new to the galactic stage, and the other races wanted to understand what made them tick. Princess Layara of House Ventros entered the detention block with her escort of royal guards. She moved with the practiced grace of someone born into power, her crystalline skin catching the harsh lighting and reflecting it in prismatic patterns. The guards kept their weapons trained on the human, though he had not moved since her arrival. "Leave us," she commanded. "Your Highness." "Protocol demands," the captain began. "I am aware of protocol." "Leave us." The guards exchanged uncertain glances, but ultimately obeyed. The heavy door sealed behind them with a pneumatic hiss. Layara stood before the containment field, studying the human with her 4 eyes. He looked back at her with only 2, and she found the asymmetry unsettling. "You are Marcus Cole," she stated. "That's what my mother called me," he replied. His voice carried a lightness that seemed inappropriate for a prisoner facing execution. "You understand why you were brought here? Because your father's advisors are terrified of what humanity represents. We're small, we're weak by galactic standards, and yet we keep surviving things that should kill us. It makes everyone nervous." Lyra's translator struggled with some of his idioms, but the meaning came through clearly enough. "My father believes humans are dangerous." "Your father is right." The admission surprised her. Most prisoners would protest their innocence or beg for mercy. This human simply agreed with his accuser. "I require your assistance," she said, deciding to abandon the pretense of casual conversation. "There are factions within the court who wish to see me removed from the line of succession. My father grows weaker by the day, and when he passes, there will be violence. I need someone who can protect me during the transition of power." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "You have an entire military at your disposal. Why would you need a prisoner?" "Because I cannot trust the military. Half the generals have already chosen sides, and the other half are waiting to see which way the wind blows. You, however, have no stake in Valtorian politics. You have no reason to betray me for personal gain. I also have no reason to help you. I can offer you freedom, safe passage back to human space, full pardon for your alleged crimes." Marcus leaned back against the wall, making the chains rattle. "And if I refuse? Then you will be executed at dawn, as scheduled." He seemed to consider this for a long moment. "Can you defend me, human?" Layara added, "That is all I need to know. Can you keep me alive when every guard, every servant, every courtier might be an assassin? Is that really the question you want to ask?" Marcus replied, "Because I think what you're actually wondering is whether a single human can stand against an empire. Whether all those stories you've heard are true." Layara said nothing, which was answer enough. "Yes," Marcus said simply. "I can defend you." She deactivated the containment field and approached the restraint mechanism. "You seem very confident for someone in chains." "I'm confident because I've been in worse situations. Your security chief thinks these restraints could hold a battle mech. He's probably right. But I'm not a battle mech." The chains fell away. Marcus stood slowly, rolling his shoulders and stretching muscles that had been immobile for too long. He was not particularly large by Valtorian standards, but there was something in the way he moved that made Layara step back instinctively. "When do we begin?" he asked. "Now. My chambers have been compromised. I need to reach the eastern sanctuary before." The explosion cut off her words. The detention block's far wall erupted inward, showering them with debris. Liara's escort guards lay dead or dying in the corridor beyond. Through the smoke came figures in black armor. carrying weapons that hummed with lethal energy. Marcus moved. Liara had heard the stories about human combat reflexes, about the adrenaline response that turned them into something more than their baseline physiology suggested. She had dismissed such tales as exaggeration. Now she watched as Marcus crossed 5 meters in less than a second, his hand closing around the throat of the lead assassin before the attacker could bring his weapon to bear. The sound of the Valtorian's neck breaking was sharp and final. Marcus took the dead assassin's weapon and fired 3 times. 3 more attackers fell. He moved like water, flowing from one position to another, never staying still long enough to present a target. The remaining assassins tried to adjust, tried to track him, but he was always somewhere they had just looked, always attacking from an angle they had not anticipated. Liara had been trained in combat since childhood. She understood tactics and strategy. What she witnessed now was neither. It was something more primal, something that bypassed conscious thought entirely. Marcus did not fight like someone trained for war. He fought like someone born to it. The last assassin tried to run. Marcus threw the weapon, and it struck the back of the fleeing figure's skull with enough force to drop him instantly. "We need to move," Marcus said, not even breathing hard. "They'll send more." Liara found her voice. "How did you—" Questions later. "Which way to the sanctuary?" She pointed down the corridor. Marcus retrieved weapons from the fallen assassins, checking their power cells with practiced efficiency. He handed one to Liara. "Do you know how to use this?" "I am trained in all Royal Guard weapons." "Good. Stay behind me and watch our flanks. If anyone comes at us, and I don't engage them immediately, it means they're yours. Don't hesitate." They moved through the palace corridors at a rapid pace. Twice more they encountered hostiles. Both times Marcus eliminated them with brutal efficiency. Liara fired her weapon once, dropping a guard who had emerged from a side passage. Marcus nodded approval, but said nothing. The Eastern Sanctuary was a fortified chapel deep in the palace's oldest section. It had been built centuries ago when the Ventros dynasty first came to power, designed to withstand siege and bombardment. The door was solid titanium carbide alloy, keyed to Lyra's biological signature. They sealed themselves inside. Liara activated the sanctuary's communication systems and began sending distress signals to loyalist forces. Marcus checked their weapons and examined the room's defenses. "How long can we hold here?" he asked. 3 days, perhaps 4. The walls will withstand anything short of a planetary bombardment. Then we wait. Liara watched him settle into a position near the door, weapon ready, eyes alert. "You knew they were coming." "I suspected. You were too desperate. Princess or not, you wouldn't free a prisoner on a whim. You freed me because you were out of options, which meant the threat was imminent. My intelligence suggested I had more time." "Your intelligence was compromised." She wanted to argue, but could not. Everything he said made sense in retrospect. "The stories about humans," she said. "About your endurance, your resilience. Are they all true?" Marcus glanced at her. "Most of them. We come from a world that spent 4 billion years trying to kill everything on it. The things that survived learned to be very, very hard to kill. We inherited that trait. It makes you dangerous. Yes, it also makes you valuable." He smiled at that, though there was no humor in it. "That's what your father was afraid of. Not that we'd conquer anyone, but that everyone would want us on their side. That humans would become the most sought-after mercenaries, bodyguards, and soldiers in the galaxy. That we'd tip the balance of power simply by choosing sides. Is that what you want?" "I want to go home. But first I'm going to keep you alive, because I said I would." The siege lasted 2 days. Loyalist forces eventually broke through the rebel positions and secured the palace. When the sanctuary door finally opened, it was to reveal Prince Doran, Lyra's younger brother, leading a contingent of household guards. "Sister," he said, relief evident in his voice. "We feared the worst. Thanks to Marcus Cole, your fears were unfounded." She turned to the human. "I will honor my promise. You have your freedom and my gratitude." Marcus nodded. "And you have a civil war to finish. Choose your allies carefully, Princess. Next time, I might not be available." 3 cycles later, when Princess Lyra became Empress Lyra, her first official act was to establish formal relations with the human government. Her second was to ensure that Marcus Cole received full diplomatic status and a standing invitation to return to Valtoria whenever he wished. He never took her up on the offer, but the gesture was noted throughout the Empire. The human who had defended a princess against impossible odds became a legend. And legends, Lyra understood, were sometimes more valuable than armies. She had asked if he could defend her, and he had shown her the answer. Now the entire galaxy knew what humanity was capable of when pushed. Some found it reassuring. Others found it terrifying. Lyra found it both, and she was grateful he had been on her side.